Hello students, welcome to Time Classes. Today's session will be on ratio, proportion and variation. In this session, we are going to learn about various concepts related to ratios. We'll also discuss what is ratio points, what is proportion, what is continued proportion, and then we'll also discuss what is variation. So we'll discuss all these little topics one by one. We'll start with ratios. But before starting, I hope you have the required handout. The handout number is this one, which is written on the board. I hope you have the hard copy of the handout. This will help us in solving the questions. Okay? So let us start with ratios first. Okay. What is a ratio? Ratio is a comparison of two quantities of the same unit. Okay? So suppose I say there are two students, A and B, and we are comparing their heights, let us say. Let us say the height of A is 160 centimeters and the height of B is 170 centimeters. So if I ask you what is the ratio of the height of A to that of B, so what are we going to do? We are going to use these two numbers like this, 160 is to 170. Is there anything common that we can cancel out in this? Yes. Can we cancel out 0 and 0? Is there anything else we can cancel out? No. So we'll say the ratio of A's height to that of B's height is 16 is to 17. Suppose the question was, what is the ratio of height of B to that of A? Then my answer would be 17 will come first and 16 will come later. So in that case, my answer should be 17 is to 16. So be careful about the question, what is the question asking. If it is A to B, it is 16 is to 17. If it is B to A, then in this case it is 17 is to 16. Okay? But remember, when we are comparing, then the units have to be same. So for example, here the unit was centimeters and centimeters here also. Okay? Let's take another example. Suppose I want to compare 9 kilograms with 300 grams. So while taking the ratio now, we have to make sure that this quantity is also in grams because this quantity is in grams, or you can do it this way. If this is in kilograms, you can take this as kilograms. Okay? What is 1 kilogram equal to how many grams? It is 1000 grams. So 9 kilogram will be equal to 9000 grams. And the ratio with 300 grams, can we cancel out something? Yes, two zeros will cancel out. And 3 1s are 3, 3 3s are 9, and the ratio is 30 is to 1. Okay? In this case, the ratio is 30 is to 1. If you had written the ratio of 9 is to 300, that would have been wrong. Okay? I hope this part is clear. All right. Now, if I am writing, suppose A is to B is equal to 2 is to 3. Okay? Let us say A is to B is equal to 2 is to 3. So we can also write this as A by B equal to 2 by 3. A is to B, if it is 2 is to 3, then you can also write it as A by B is equal to 2 by 3. And if you have two terms in a given ratio, so here we have two terms, A and B. The first term in the ratio is known as antecedent. The first term is known as antecedent and the second term is known as consequent. Okay? If ratio has two terms, the first term is antecedent and the second term is consequent. All right. So one thing is we can write A is to B, if it is given as 2 is to 3, you can write it as A by B equal to 2 by 3. Okay. Tell me one more thing. Suppose I have a ratio 2 is to 3, another ratio is 4 is to 6, another ratio is, let us say, 6 is to 9. So are these ratios same or different? These ratios are all same. Why? Because 2 is to 3, in this case I have multiplied both the terms by the same number, which is 2. So I get 4 here, 2 into 2 is 4 and 3 into 2 is 6. So has my ratio changed? No, my ratio has not changed because 4 is to 6 must be ultimately written as 2 is to 3 only. So if I am writing 4 is to 6, there is a common factor 2 by which we can cancel out 2, 4 and 6. So ultimately I am going to get 2 is to 3. Similarly, look here. Can I divide 6 and 9 by 3? So 6 divided by 3 is 2, 9 divided by 3 is 3. So ratio here also is 2:3 only. So we will note one thing here, that in a ratio, if you are multiplying both the terms by the same number, then the ratio will not change. So 2:3 is same as 4:6, which is same as 6:9. Can we say the other way around? 6:9, when both the terms are divided by 3 each, then we are going to get 2:3, but then the ratios are same. So we can also say in a ratio, if you divide all the terms by the same quantity, then also the ratio will not change. Okay? In a ratio, if you multiply throughout by the same quantity or divide by a common number throughout, the ratio is not going to change, it will remain the same. Fine? But can I say the same thing for adding a quantity or subtracting a common quantity? No. In that case, the ratio will change. And how will it change? We'll discuss a little later. Okay? I hope this much part is clear. Okay, once we are through with this, let us discuss one question in the sheet that you have. Can we try question number 1? So let us look at question number 1. What is given and what is required? Okay. So they are giving you that A is to B is equal to 3:4. And what do we have to find? We have to find the value of 1 by A plus 1 by B divided by 1 by A minus 1 by B. Okay. So let's write it here. A is to B is given as 3:4. Okay. What are they asking for? They are asking for 1 by A plus 1 by B is equal to divided by 1 by A minus 1 by B. So 1 by A plus 1 by B divided by 1 by A minus 1 by B. Can we simplify it a little bit and write it as, in the numerator I will have the LCM as A into B. Okay. And what do we get in the numerator? A here will get B, because AB divided by A you will get B. So here will get B and here will get A. In the denominator similarly, the LCM is again AB. And what do you get in the numerator? We are going to get B minus A. Can I say this AB and AB will cancel out? So what do we get finally? B plus A divided by B minus A. Okay. Next step would be like this. So we have what? A is to B. Can I write this value as A divided by B is equal to 3/4? Can we write A by B equal to 3/4? Yes. Now here also we need to find out how to get A by B here. So think about it. In the numerator and denominator, if I divide throughout by B, in the numerator and denominator, if I divide throughout by B, what do I get? B divided by B, I'll get 1. A divided by B will get A by B. In the denominator, B divided by B will get 1, and minus A divided by B will be A by B. So we already have the values of A by B, which is 3/4. So can we write this as 1 plus 3/4 divided by 1 minus 3/4. So what do we get? 4 plus 3, 7/4 divided by 4 minus 3, 1/4. Can we cancel out 4 with 4? Yes. And therefore we get 7/1. In the answer option you will see that option number 3 is 7. Right? So we have got the answer as 7/1, which is nothing but 7. Okay. This is one way of doing the question. But this is going a bit lengthy, right? So we'll use an alternative strategy to solve questions like this. Okay. So what do we have to observe? We have to observe here that the question was asking us for this quantity. Okay. Now look at the terms. In the numerator and the denominator, A and B are there. What are the powers of A and B? It is 1 everywhere. Okay. So let's call that as an order. So we can say numerator and denominator have the same order. In this case, the order is 1. We can also have the order as 2. We can also have the order as 3. So we can have any order, but the order has to be same in the numerator as well as the denominator. Now, next step is what? We don't have to bother much about the complexity of the question. We can simply do this question like this. If we have the same order in the numerator as well as the denominator, then what do? The ratio was A is to B, which was 3:4. So we'll simply put the value of A as 3 and B as 4 in the given expression, and we will get the answer. Okay. So let's put it here. Can I write it as 1 by 3? A will be taken as 3, B will be taken as 4. So 1 by 3 plus 1 by 4. In the denominator, I can simply write 1 by 3 minus 1 by 4. So what do I get? Here you will get the LCM as 12, and you get 4 plus 3 here. Here also the LCM is 12, and you get 4 minus 3 here, right? So 12 and 12 will get cancelled out. So you'll get 7 divided by 1, which is nothing but 7. Okay. Can you say this part is much easier than doing this part? So this is an alternative strategy which can be used for solving these type of questions. Okay. I hope this part is clear. Okay. We'll do one more example. Let us take question number 4 and solve. Okay. So read the question once. What is given? They are giving you an expression of the form. They are saying if 3x square minus 4y square divided by 2x square minus y square, if it is equal to 8 by 7, then they are asking you to find the value of 5x plus y divided by 3x minus y. Let's see how to do this question. Okay, what is given is an expression. Can we multiply, or rather say cross multiply there? So let's write it here. So we have 3x square minus 4y square divided by 2x square minus y square is equal to 8 by 7. Okay. Let us cross multiply. What do we get? 7 into 3, 21x square minus 28y square is equal to 16x square minus 8y square. Okay. So let's take the terms containing x square on the same side. Okay. So what are we going to get here? 21 minus 16x square is 5x square, right? And 28 minus 8 square is 28y square minus 8y square is 20y square. Can I write x square by y square will be equal to 20 divided by 5, which is 4 by 1. Will this imply that x by y is equal to, I am taking square root on both sides, right? I am taking square root on both sides. So I'll get square root of 4 is 2 divided by square root of 1 is 1. Can we have minus 2 by minus 1 here? No, because if you read the question carefully, in the brackets it is given x and y are positive. So we do not have to consider the negative values. Okay. Now you have got x by y as 2 by 1, which is same as saying x is to y is 2 is to 1, right? And what is the question asking for? It is asking for 5x plus y divided by 3x minus y. 5x plus y divided by 3x minus y. Can we do the same logic that we did in this question? We already have x is to y is 2 is to 1. So the order of the numerator and the denominator is same. The order is 1 in the numerator as well as the denominator. So we can simply put the value of x as 2, y as 1, and we'll get the answer comfortably. Okay. So let's do that. 5 multiplied with 2 plus 1 divided by 3 multiplied with 2 minus 1. So what do I get? 5 to the 10 plus 1, 11 divided by 3 to the 6 minus 1, 5. So what is my answer? My answer is 11 by 5. Okay. So do you see that on the option? Yes, option number 1 is the correct answer. I hope till here it is fine. So we are going to learn the concept of ratio points now, and then we will see questions related to it. Okay. So the next segment that we are going to discuss is about ratio points. Okay. So let us see what is a ratio point. Concept of ratio points. Okay. So suppose I am saying A has some marbles which he wants to distribute among 3 people, B, C and D, in this ratio. Let us say 1 is to 2 is to 3. A has some number of marbles which he wants to distribute among B, C and D in the ratio 1 is to 2 is to 3. So we'll say 1, 2 and 3 are the ratio points. Okay. If you find difficulty in calling it as ratio points or remembering, you can simply call them as parts. So we'll say 1 part, 2 parts and 3 parts. So what is the total number of ratio points here? It is 1 plus 2 plus 3, which is 6 ratio points. Or let's call 6 total parts. Okay. Now suppose A has 60 marbles. A has 60 marbles, which it distributed among B, C and D in the ratio 1:2:3. So who got how many marbles? If that question is to be found out, who got how many marbles, then back in school you would have learned we would do it this way. Let us say B got X marbles. If B got X, then C got 2X and D got 3X. So we would say total number of marbles is sum of all these three terms, which is equal to 60. So we'll say 6x is equal to 60. Then we will say that x is equal to 10. Once you get x equal to 10, we can say B got 10, C got 2 into 10, which is 20, and D got 3 into 10, which is 30. Okay? But we are not going to use this method because it requires a little bit of time. We can do this directly. We can do this mentally also. Okay? By the help of this ratio point that we have learned. So it will be simply like this. We'll say out of 6 ratio points, B has got 1 ratio point. So can I say B has got 1 ratio point out of 6 ratio point. So we'll say B will get 1 by 6 of the total. So multiply with 60 because the total is 60. So we did get directly 10. Similarly, C got 2 by 6. 2 by 6 multiplied with 60. So what is the value? 20. And D got 3 by 6 into 60. So C got 30 marbles. Okay. I hope this is fine. This is much easier. Okay. You can look at it in a different way. We'll say total number of ratio points is 6 and total number of marbles is 60. So let's divide 60 into 6 ratio points. We'll say 60 divided by 6. So which is equal to 10. So we are essentially saying that 6 ratio points was equivalent to 60 marbles. So 1 ratio point will be equivalent to 10 marbles. And therefore we will say 1 ratio points means 10, 2 ratio points means 20, 3 ratio points means 30. So our job is done. Can we do this mentally also? Yes, we can do this mentally also. So just remember the concept of ratio points. Okay? We'll do a few examples based on ratio points. Let us see. So let's try question number 5 first. Let's try question number 5 first. What does the question say? The question is saying total number of gold medals and silver medals won by India in Asian Games is 75. So gold plus silver medals total is 75. Which of the following cannot be the ratio of the number of silver medals won to that of gold medals won by India? Okay. So they are asking that which of the following cannot be the ratio of silver medals to gold medals. Okay. So we have been given 4 options. One of them is not correct. We have to pick the option which is not correct. Now this question you don't really have to solve anything. We just have to realize that number of medals, can it be in fractions? Can it be in fractions? No. So can I say the total number of marbles 75 has to be distributed among silver marbles and silver medals. Total number of medals 75 has to be distributed as silver medals and gold medals. Okay. So if the ratio is 2:3, what is the total number of ratio points? Total number of ratio points is 5. Can 75 be divided into 5 ratio points? Yes, it can be divided because 75 is divisible by 5. So first option can be the ratio. Okay. Let's check the second one. 12:13. What is the total number of ratio points? 12 plus 13 is 25. So can 75 be divided into 25 ratio points? Yes, it can be divided. The next option was 7:8. What is the total number of ratio points? Ratio points is 15. Can 75 be divided into 15 ratio points? Yes, it can be done. So first 3 options are correct. First 3 ratios are possible. The fourth one is not possible. So my answer is fourth. If you want to cross check, you will see that 9 plus 11 is 20 ratio points. Can you divide 75 by 20? We cannot divide 70 into 20 ratio points. So that cannot be the ratio. Okay. So this question does not require any calculation. This can be done mentally. through options. Okay. I hope this question is clear. Okay, we will move on to the next question. Let us try question number 19 on the second page. We have a question number 19 on the second page. Okay. Let's read the question carefully, see what is given and what is required. It is saying that the ages of three persons, P, Q and R, are in the ratio 2:5:9. Okay. The ratio of ages of three persons, P, Q and R, is in the ratio 2:5:9. If the difference of the ages of P and R is 21 years, then find the age of Q. Okay. Let's write it here on the board. So it is a question on the ratio of ages of three persons. Okay. So we have three persons. What are their names? P, Q and R. And what is the ratio of their ages? 2:5:9. 2:5:9. Okay. If the difference of the ages of P and R is 21 years, find the age of Q. Let us see. Here also we do not require any calculation. We can do this also mentally. See what is happening. It is saying the difference of the age of P and R is 21. For P we have 2 ratio points and for R we have 9 ratio points. What is the difference in the ratio points? 2 and 9, the difference is of 7 ratio points. Can I say that the difference of 7 ratio points is equal to the difference given in the question, which is equal to 21 years? So can I say this 7 points must be equivalent to 21 years? So what is 1 point equivalent to? Can I say 1 point will be equivalent to 21 divided by 7, which is 3 years, because this was 21 years. So can I say 1 point or 1 ratio point is equivalent to 3 years? Okay, what are they asking? They are asking you to find the age of Q. So what is the age of Q? It is 5 ratio points, isn't it? So 5 ratio points will be equal to how many years? Because 1 ratio point is equal to 3 years, 5 ratio points will be equal to 5 into 3, which is 15 years. Okay, so the age of Q is 15 years. Okay, this was question number 19. I hope this question is clear to you. This question is clear to you. Now let us move on to the next example. So coming back to page number 1. Page number 1, we have a question number 12. Okay. So if you look at the question, this question is about counting money. So we can easily do this question. So it says a purse contains 2 rupee coins, 5 rupee coins and 10 rupee coins. Okay. These are the 3 denomination of coins in the ratio 5:6:4. All right. If the total value of 5 rupee coins is 40 more than the total value of 2 rupee coins, then find the total amount. Okay. So let's represent that question mathematically here. This is question number 12. A purse contains 2 rupee coins, 5 rupee coins and 10 rupee coins. So let's write it here. Rupee 2, rupee 5, rupee 10. What is the ratio? 5:6:4. 5:6:4. This is the ratio of the number of coins. This is the ratio of the number of coins. Okay. Can I say the value of these coins will be in the ratio 2:5, 5:6 and 10:4. Why? Because number of coins, they have to be multiplied with the value of each coin. So can I say that the value of these coins must be in the ratio 2:5, which is 10, 5:6, which is 30 and 10:4, which is 40. Okay. So the value will be in the ratio 10:30:40. So these are my ratio points for the value. Now let's look at other data. It is saying the total value of 5 rupee coins is 40 more than the total value of 2 rupee coins. So this is the value for 5 rupee coins. This is the value for 2 rupee coins. This is how much more than this? In the question it says it is 40 more than this. So can I say 30 ratio points minus 10 ratio points? 30 minus 10 ratio points, can I say it is equal to rupees 40 as given in the question? So here we have 20 points, 20 ratio points is equal to rupees 40. So can I say 1 ratio point must be equal to how many rupees? 2 rupees. So 1 ratio points must be equal to 2 rupees. So they are asking you to find the total amount. They are asking you to find the total amount. What is the total amount in terms of ratio points? It is 10 plus 30 plus 40. It is 10 plus 30 plus 40. Add them. How do we get? How much do we get? 80. So we have to find the value of 80 ratio points. If one ratio point is 20, if one ratio point is 2, then 80 ratio points must be equal to 80 points must be equal to 80 multiplied by 2, which means rupees 160. So this is the total value that we have. 80 ratio points must be equal to 160 rupees. So can we say 160 is the answer? Yes? I hope this question is clear. Okay. We'll do one more example. This question you will see that this question can be solved through making equation also, but with the help of ratio we can solve this question very, very easily. Okay. This question is question number 1 in the additional question. You will find it on page number 2. Question number 1 from the additional question. Okay. Okay, let's read the question. It is saying the sum of 540 rupees is divided among 3 friends A, B and C. A got half of what the other 2 got together. B got 1/3 of what the other 2 got together. So we have to find the difference of the amounts received by A and B. We have to find the difference of the amount received by A and B. Let's see how we can do this. As I said, this question can be also done by making equations. Okay? But we'll try to do it a little differently and we'll see how it saves our time. Okay. So this is additional question 1. So total amount is how much? 540 rupees. Can I say, let us say A got A rupees, B got B rupees and C got C rupees. So what is the total amount? Total amount is 540 rupees. Okay. Then it says A got half of what the other 2 got. So A is equal to half of what the other 2 got, which is B plus C. Okay. Next sentence says B got 1/3 of what the other 2 got. So B got 1/3 of what the other 2 got. Which are the other 2? A and C. Okay. And they are asking you to find what is the difference between the amount received by A and B. So as you can see, we have 3 equations, 3 variables. We can solve it by using the concept that you have learned in simple equation also. But we'll do it using the concept of ratio. It will be very easy for us. So think about it. If A is getting half of B plus C, can I say I am writing it in a little different way? Between what A got and what B and C together got, what is the ratio if A is getting half of what B plus C got together? Can I say the ratio will be 1:2? Which you can see here itself. If I take B plus C in the denominator here, I'll get 1:2. 1 divided by 2 is 1:2. Okay. And the total of all these 3 must be equal to which amount in the question? It must be equal to 540 rupees. It is already given. Now, how many ratio points do we have? 1 ratio point for A and 2 ratio points for the total of B and C. And what is the total number of ratio points including A, B and C? It is 3 points. Can I say that A has got 1 ratio point out of total 3 ratio points of the total amount, which is 540. If you cancel this out, how much is the amount? 180 rupees. So can I say A has got 180 rupees. Okay. Likewise, we'll do it for B. Think about it. Between A plus C and B, what should be the ratio here? What should be the ratio here? Something similar to this. It should be 1:3, right? It should be 1:3. So B got how much amount? Can we say B got 1 ratio point out of total 4 ratio points multiplied by the total amount, which was 540? Okay. So how much do we get? 4 say we can cancel out. 4 1 ja 4, 4 3 ja 12, 4 5 ja 20. So this is 135 rupees. Okay. So A has got 180 and B has got 135. What is the question asking for? We do not have to get the value for C because the question is asking for the difference of the amount received by A and B. How much is the difference between 180 and 135? Is it 45? Yes. So the answer is 45 rupees. Answer is 45. I hope this question is clear. Okay. Now we'll move a little ahead and look at some other concepts here. All right. So let us look at some questions on income expenses. So while we are doing the questions of income expenses, we have to keep in mind one thing, the relationship between income, expenses and savings. Okay. So can I say income minus expenses or income minus expenditure, that will be equal to savings, right? Income minus expenses is equal to savings. Or you can also say that income minus savings is equal to expenses. You can also look at it this way. Okay. So let us look at one example where we will use this. Okay. So the question is question number 11 on the first page. Question is question number 11 on the first page. Let's read the question carefully. It is saying incomes of Anil and Mukesh are in the ratio 6:5. Their annual expenses are in the ratio 3:2. Given their annual savings as 3,000 and 4,000 respectively, find the annual income of Anil. Okay. So let us represent it in mathematical form here. So we have been given income and expenses of two people. So this is question number 11. Income has the ratio of 6:5. So let's write it here, A for Anil and M for Mukesh. Okay. The ratio of income and the ratio of expenses. What is the ratio of income? It is 6:5. What is the ratio of expenses? It is 3:2. Okay. And what has been given? It has been given that the annual savings are 3,000 and 4,000 respectively. So 3,000 is for Anil and 4,000 is for Mukesh. Okay, one way of doing it is like this. You can say the ratio is given, so we can say incomes are 6x and 5x. And the ratio of expenses are given, we can say this is 3y and 2y. Okay. How do we get the savings? We have written the formula. Income minus expenses will give me the savings. What is the savings for A? It is 6x minus 3y. And how much is it? Is it given in the question? It is given in the question as 3,000. Can I say 6x minus 3y is equal to 3,000? This is my equation number 1. Okay. What is my equation number 2? Let us find the savings of Mukesh also. So for Mukesh, it will be 5x minus 2y, and that is given in the question as 4,000. So these are two equations, two variables. Can we solve these two to get the value of x? Once you get the value of x, the question is asking to find the annual income of Anil. Okay. So you can find the value of x and then put the value of x here, you will get the answer. Okay, have you noticed one thing in the question? It is saying incomes of Anil and Mukesh are in the ratio 6:5. Okay, and their annual expenses are in the ratio 3:2. So it is not specified for the income whether it is annual income or monthly income. So how do we get to know that the ratio is 6:5 only and not something else? See whether it is monthly income or it is annual income. If it is monthly income, what do you need to do to get the annual income? Multiply by 12, but that multiply by 12 will be multiplied in both the terms, right? And we have seen in the beginning that if you multiply the same number to both the terms, the ratio is not going to change. So it is not needed to be specified here that this is the ratio of annual income. We can safely take this as ratio of annual income. Ratio of annual expenses and 3,000 and 4,000 are already given. These are annual savings only. Okay, fine. So this is one way of doing it. We can get the value of x from here. If you solve this, you will get the value of x as 2000. So what is the income of Anil? 6 into 2000, which is equal to 12,000, right? But can we do it some other way? There is another way. You can do it also in this way, because the savings are already given. So I can take the incomes like this, 6x and 5x, and let this be the ratio 3:2. Okay. So can I say for Anil, his income is 6x, and what is his savings? Savings is 3000. So what is his expenses? 6x minus 3000, right? Expenses equal to income minus savings. Income is 6x and savings is 3000. For Mukesh, it will be what? 5x. 5x is the income and the savings are 4000. So 5x minus 4000. So expenses of Anil, expenses of Mukesh. What is the ratio? The ratio is 3/2. That is already given in the question. Expenses of Anil, expenses of Mukesh, the ratio is 3/2. So we can cross multiply and solve. So again we'll get the value of x as 2000. Now this part and this part is basically solving linear equations. Alright. So we'll get the value of x as 2000 and we'll multiply it here, 6 into 2000, which is equal to 12,000. Okay. 6 into 2000, which is 12,000. So either way, this way or that way, you can solve the question and get the value of x. Thereby, you will be getting the value of income of Anil. It will be 12,000. Okay. So this we are using two equations, two variables, and here we are using only one equation, one variable. So either way it can be done. I hope till here it is fine. Okay. Now let us learn another concept. So the concept is about how do you convert a ratio which is given in terms of fraction in the form of integer. Okay. How to convert a ratio given in terms of fraction in integers. So suppose I have the ratio written like this, 2/3 is to 1/4 is to 5/6. So this is my ratio. So this ratio is clearly in terms of fraction. How to convert this ratio in the form of integers? What do we do for that? We'll have to multiply all these three parts with a common number such that this common number that you take gets cancelled by 3 also, 4 also and 6 also. So what is the smallest number that will be cancelled by 3 also, 4 also and 6 also? Can I say it will be nothing but the least common multiple of 3, 4 and 6, right? Okay. So what is the least common multiple of 3, 4 and 6? What is the least common multiple of 3, 4 and 6? Can I say it is 12? So we will multiply throughout by 12. Okay? Okay, if I multiply throughout by 12, will my ratio not change? No, it won't change because you are multiplying all the terms by the common number 12. So we have learnt it in the beginning that the ratio is not going to change. Fine. So 2/3 into 12, what do I get? 8. 1/4 into 12, what do I get? 3. And 5/6 into 12, what do I get? 10. So can I say the ratio which was in fraction is same as this ratio which is in the form of integers. Once you convert fractional form to integer form, we can divide whatever is given in the question in this ratio. Okay. I hope this is clear how to convert a ratio given in fractions in the integer form. We'll take up a question and we'll see how we can apply this to solve the question. Okay. So we'll take the example of a question, question number 4 of additional question. Question number 4 of additional question. So question is a bit lengthy, but we'll read it carefully. Question is lengthy, but it is not tough. We'll see it can be solved very, very easily. Okay, let's understand what is given and what do we have to find. It is saying 3 friends P, Q and R together won a lottery and intended to share the winnings of 6,300. So total amount that they have won is 6,300 rupees. And they intended to share it in the ratio 1/3 is to 1/5 is to 1/6. This is what they intended to do. But the actual division is not in this ratio. The actual division is in the ratio of 3:5:6, right? Because the wife of R suggested that they share the winnings in the ratio of their investments, which is 3:5:6. So actual sharing is being done in the ratio 3:5:6, okay, to which everyone agreed and shared accordingly. So this is the actual sharing. What is the highest difference between the amount originally intended to be received and the amount actually received by any one of them? Okay. Okay. First of all, let's convert this ratio in the integer form. So we just now learned what is the LCM of 3, 5 and 6. What is the LCM of 3, 5 and 6? It is 30. So let's multiply 30 here. Okay. Let's multiply 30 here. So here we get 10, here we get 6, here we get 5. Okay. So can I say this 6300 was intended to be divided in this ratio, but now it has actually been divided in the ratio 3:5:6. What do we have to find? Let's read very carefully. We don't have to calculate the individual amount of anyone. It is saying what is the highest difference between the amount originally intended to be received and the amount actually received by any one of them. So can I say in the first case, who is the person who will get the highest amount? P. So we are writing this for PQR. So here P is going to get the highest amount. It was intended that P will get the highest amount. But what is the actual sharing? 3:5:6. In this case, what is the least amount anyone will get? It is P again. Because out of 3, 5 and 6, the least ratio point is 3. And out of 10, 6 and 5, the highest ratio point is 10. So what was intended to be given to P? It was 10 ratio points out of 10 plus 6 plus 5, which is 21, multiplied by the total 6300. Okay. Can we say it is equal to 3000? This is what P was intended to get. And in this case, P would have got 3 ratio points out of 3 plus 5 plus 6, that is 14, multiplied by again total amount, which is 6300. Okay. Let's cancel this out. 14 4 ja 56. Here you get 14 5 ja 70 and 0. What will be 450 into 3? Will it be 1350? Yes. It will be 1350. So what is the difference in the amount? 3000 minus 1350. Difference in the amount intended to be received and the amount actually received. So difference is 1650. So what is my answer? 1650. Okay. I hope this question is clear. Okay. What we'll quickly do is just do a little bit of definition that you will encounter in this chapter. ठीक है. हम लोग थोड़ा रेशियो का अलग अलग definition देखेंगे. There are a few definitions that we need to take care of. And the question will be very simple. You just have to see that it meets the requirement of the definition. Okay. Let's quickly look at that. Let us say the ratio is A is to B. So if the ratio is A is to B, we define a term called as duplicate ratio. We define a term called as duplicate ratio. Duplicate ratio of A is to B will be equal to A square is to B square. Okay. Then we have subduplicate ratio. Subduplicate ratio will be square root of A to square root of B. Okay. Duplicate ratio of A is to B is A square is to B square. Subduplicate ratio is root of A to root of B. Then we have triplicate ratio. Triplicate ratio of A is to B is A cube is to B cube. And subtriplicate ratio is cube root of A to cube root of B. Okay. Now let us say what is the duplicate ratio of 3 is to 4? Can I say it will be 9 is to 16? What is the triplicate ratio of 3 is to 4? So it will be 3 cube is to 4 cube, which is 27 is to 64. Okay, one more. 125 is to 64. What is the subtriplicate ratio of this? So we'll take the cube root of this also, cube root of this also. Okay. So what is the cube root of 125? 5. And what is the cube root of 64? It is 4. I hope these definitions are clear. Okay. Okay, we'll start with the next segment then.